This just in, Supreme Chancellor Joe Biden has decided to send more troops to Afghanistan. As it turns out, many 7-Eleven and Dunkin' Donuts workers went on strike in protest against the Supreme Chancellor abandoning their families in Afghanistan. Joe naturally disregarded the protest because he doesn't care. But after the first few days, all the libs of Starbucks had extreme FOMO, so they too went on strike in protest for, and I quote, "as Gandhi stand," or whatever. Upon seeing this strike, many Zs freaked out and decided to voice for Trump. No one had any idea why this strange phenomenon happened until our grand dictators from the CDC announced that, again quoting, "overpriced, crappy coffee is the only thing that keeps them, all the Zs and Zettes, brainwashed." After learning that his decay and increased society of idiots was finally getting smart, Supreme Chancellor Joe Biden decided to cave to the request of the 7-Eleven and Dunkin' Donuts workers and actually save their families. Or so we wish. I'm Jacob Plowski, and this is the Patriot Perspective. Okay, we are in. I may have moved the Coke, but I really don't care. So, the real story, yes, that was all satire. Believe it or not, I was joking. There was no pull back from the pullout. There was no second thoughts, and Joe Biden just put his foot down. So, troops did leave Afghanistan August 30th at 3:29 p.m. Eastern Time. That marked the end of this 20-year conflict, which I guess kind of works. Before they were calling it an endless war, then a 20-year war. Now I guess it's like an endless conflict, but at that point, like you arguing with your stepmom would be an endless conflict. But pretty much, they're saying that this is all good, that the fighting is finally over, the troops are coming home. Sure, I mean, there's a bunch of Americans there, and sure, I mean, we don't really have responsibility for them. We're handing them over to the Taliban, who happens to rape goats and rape women all the same. They love to beat people, and they love to express their authority, but I mean, whatever. The grown-ups are in charge. That's what matters. So, it's kind of a false pretext, but I know that ISIS-K is still a real threat, I guess, so we're told. They were kind of a small insurgent group until the Americans pulled out. Then they launched a couple suicide bombing attacks that killed 10 to 13 Marines. I'm not quite sure on the actual number, and that's just because I've heard so many numbers floating around that I really have no idea, and I forgot to check. Sorry. But anyway, Joe Biden announced that we can still attack over the horizons, whatever that means, over the horizons. Kind of a stupid saying, because if you think about it, the horizon never ever ends. It just keeps on shooting off into the infinite as far as the eye can see. And the horizon always changes, so really you can't get over the horizon because the horizon never ends. Were the horizon to end, you could get over it, but it just keeps on going. And there's also mountains and ocean in between us and Afghanistan. It's not on the coast, but I mean, it's inland, don't worry. And it's so far away. It's such a stupid, idiotic idea on that we can still have a great presence in Afghanistan and yet not be in Afghanistan at all. It doesn't make any sense. We need troops on the ground in order to do that. But Supreme Chancellor Joe Biden does not give a crap at all, as he has said in the past. Joe Biden, Supreme Chancellor, he did give a speech. I did not watch the entire speech. It's a tough speech to watch, just like all of his speeches, but unlike all of his speeches, he did yell in this one. It was kind of scary, kind of alarming, but I mean, whatever. I guess he was trying to really prove a point to ISIS-K on that. He will find you. He will not forget you. Sure, it may be 20 years down the line. Sure, it may be 40. Sure, Joe Biden, Supreme Chancellor, will be dead already, but that does not matter because America will not forget about what you did, about who you killed, and we will get you. But for now, we're going to forget about it. Don't worry. He looked way more decrepit than usual, which I mean is a continuing thing. Again, I thought he walked out right after. Could be wrong, though. My newsfeed cut right after he was done. It went to the stupid announcers who were talking, so I assumed there was no questions. But I guess we'll find out later. If you wanted to, you could watch that speech. I'm sure that you will love it, and you'll probably end up blasting your brains out. I wouldn't recommend watching it, but I mean, hey, to each their own, He also sounded a lot more weak during it, which was kind of weird because he was yelling. He wasn't doing the whisper thing, but he was really getting into it. He was really almost pounding. He was really into it. It was supposed to be an intimate speech. Turned out to be a total flop, but I mean, hey, whatever. To him, any breath is intimate, and any moment could be his last, so it's amazing that he's able to get this far. Now, meanwhile, there is a hurricane in Louisiana, and all of our thoughts and prayers and best wishes, and probably a lot of our money, is going to help those people out. Why you would want to live by the ocean, but under the sea level, I could never understand. It sounds pretty cool, but obviously stuff like this is going to happen. So Hurricane Ida is coming through, tearing the place apart. Many are left without power. Many are left maybe not out of their homes. A couple people died. I really haven't followed it too closely, but I followed it closely enough to know that it's a horrible situation, and we really hope that everyone does well in it and that no one gets hurt at all. But obviously, reality does exist. Now, thankfully, while you are suffering through this hurricane, do not worry. The CDC is out to the rescue. They sent out advice. They sent out a couple of steps for you to follow so that you can prepare, be ready, and survive this amazing hurricane. The first step was to take basic steps to ensure your safety should a storm hit. And then the second step, this one is more important, go get the COVID-19 vaccine. That's going to save you from a hurricane. Now, look, I'm not saying that the coronavirus vaccine won't save your life in a hurricane, because, it might. Maybe somebody has the sniffles while you're being attacked by giant waves and heavy winds, and, you don't catch the sniffles then. It's a pretty good thing. But all I am saying is who the actual frick cares? Really? Okay, this is a hurricane, man. And words do not describe the stupidity. Now, other related news is that after the US took off, the Taliban started shooting in the air like it was an old Western film or something. Pretty cool. Another is that the US found a new warfare strategy. It is that we do not need weapons. After all, we have the power of transgenderism, gay, whatever. No one's going to want to fight us. We're the strongest army in the world, and that's why we don't need an army. Either way, we can now officially give all of our enemies weapons because we do not need them. Russia, China, stay on the line, and we could probably hook you guys up with a couple of nukes if you ask nicely. Might be a little bit of money, but hey, the Taliban didn't have to pay too much, so you guys should be good. Speaking of weapons, the Taliban just started using their brand new helicopters to tow people. I don't know what it looks like to you, but to me, it looks like Taliban bungee jumping is super crazy, and I cannot wait to try it. One thing that I'm a little concerned though is while you're hanging off that rope, what if the wind wash gets a little too strong? Are you spinning while on it? It's not only you're being choked, but you're also spinning in the air, so you're already dead. And how fast can we get this guy going? I'm just saying, guys, Allahu Akbar or whatever, how fast can we get him spinning? Can we get him up there? Can we tear off his arms and legs, get him spinning so fast? That'd be pretty crazy. Now, I know this all seems like I'm just making fun of people, and you'd probably be correct, because there's a lot of stupid out there, but believe me, there's a rhyme and a reason to all of this. What's happening in Afghanistan, in Louisiana, it's really serious stuff. This is heavy junk, and sometimes the best way to deal with really heavy things like this is to just laugh it off. Otherwise, we'd all be crying unsenselessly. That's no way to act. But really, it is in dire times like this that we should all come together, just like the Beatles would, and help each other out. After all, when you are in the service of your fellow man, you are only in the service of your God. So please serve your fellow man with as much energy and urgency as you would serve God. Please help out anyone in need. I'm sure there are refugee funds and hurricane disaster funds that could use some filling up, a little extra tip up. Otherwise, you could contact the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I know on that they are always looking for help, and they will assign stuff to you, and they'll also look at you feeling the right way. You could look on places like Just Serve. Just be proactive and find a way that you can help someone out in need today. And just because you can't house an Afghan refugee, it doesn't mean that you can't mow a neighbor's lawn or even bake a plate of cookies for someone. Just do anything you can. Please serve others, and it will all be worth it in the end. The only way that we as a country can overcome these mass struggles and horrible situations is by coming together, by uniting ourselves as children of God and as people of these brave and free United States of America. Now, if you've made it this far, that means you were really just waiting for my permission to leave, and you do not have it yet. You cannot leave before you please like and subscribe. I'm telling you guys, share this with a friend, share it with an enemy, share it with your blue-haired cousin or with your transgender brother. I really don't care, just as long as you give me the views, I guess. Give me the views, give me the likes, give me the subscribes. Let me get money from YouTube, because I'm sure this is not demonetized. I'm way too small for that. And you should comment, really. Whether that's just commenting on my shirt, on the setup, on how much this sucks, on what I could do better, just please give me a comment. That way more people can see this and I can make way more money off of it. But, you know, let's be honest, if I didn't tell you this, you wouldn't know to do it. So again, like, subscribe, comment, follow, share, do whatever you freaking want to. I don't care. I just want you to know I really want to buy some drum mics, and they're really, really expensive. So if you could just give me the views, I don't know how to set up a Patreon. I'll probably look into that. I don't know. I'll find some way to make more money off of this as I make it more of a, you know, daily or at least weekly, or as I make this more of a standard thing. I will set up a way for you to give me money so that I can bless you with my voice, with my skill, and with this, whatever this is. Now, this is Jacob Pulowski, and that is my Patriot Perspective.